Hey guys, how's it going? Today we are planting 3 different types of gorgeous perennials, 2 of which I have some experience with, 1 of which I do not. So we've got Queen of Hearts Brunnera here, which is a shade-loving plant. We've got the meant-to-be Queen Nectarine, Agastache, Agastache, Anise hyssop, whatever you like to call it. In our region, we call it Agastache. And then I've got a package of rose lily bulbs called Samantha. One of you guys sent these out. There was no indication as to who sent it, so thank you, whoever did, but I've never tried these before. It's a double oriental lily, a beautiful color, deep pink with white edges, so we're gonna get those in the ground as well. So I thought I would run through the details really quick. This Brunnera right here, one of my favorite perennials, almost, I don't want to say it's going to overtake hostas. I love hostas, but Brunnera do better in our area than hostas do because they can withstand the heat. They take our wind. They've got like a thicker, kind of more leathery leaf. You can kind of hear it. A little bit rougher. And they just don't tend to show burn and wind tattering like hostas will, but these will get significant. Like they'll get 16 to 18 inches tall, 32 inches wide, huge leaves. Like these leaves will broaden out and they're like this big. They're huge, bold texture in the garden, and they do bloom. I like the blooms on Brunnera more than on hostas, so they'll shoot up these forget-me-not, beautiful blue blooms in mid to late spring, and then you're just left with this gorgeous foliage for the rest of the season. Now, I can't remember the zones, 3 through 8. So super winter hardy. They're just a really good one. And both of these prefer neutral to alkaline soil. So both are really great for our area, and both of them are resistant to deer if that is something that you deal with. Now this one right here, my experience is limited. I planted it for the very first time last year and it's not coming back very well for us. I have a lot of other varieties of Agastache that look amazing. So I don't know if it's just the location where I had this. I kind of want to try this in the same location, and maybe that's the wrong thing to do, but it could have been something else that, you know, that happened to it. I don't know. But the color is gorgeous. They bloom from midsummer all the way through fall. They attract all the pollinators. I love the color of the leaves. Even when this plant is not in bloom, they've got just a really beautiful, it's like a unique color of green. It almost has an iridescent quality to it. Zone 5 through 9, I'm not sure if I mentioned that already. We garden in a zone 6. But the color of these blooms, that kind of peachy nectarine color, is wonderful, but then the calyx, which is the thing that holds the bloom to the plant, is a mauve color. So even when those peachy colored petals fall off, the plant still looks like it's in bloom. It's got a multi-dimensional look to it, and you don't feel like you need to deadhead it, which is really amazing. And this one, once you can get it established, is very drought and heat tolerant. So I'm hopeful that my round 2 here is a little bit more successful. Now this one right here, like I said, I don't have any experience with it. So pretty. I hope they do well. I have some other oriental lilies that do great. The thing that I'm excited about with this one is that it's really fluffy, like fully double blooms, and there's no stamens. So there's extra petals instead of stamens, so they're pollenless. So you won't have pollen dropping off of these. They're really desirable for people who like to do floral arrangements, and they're not as strongly fragrant. They are fragrant, but they're not gonna, like, you know, be too much. So I'm excited about it. They go 6 inches deep. They grow 3 to 4 feet tall, full sun to part shade. So that's what we're gonna do. There's 3 bulbs in here. Let's go to the Agastache area first. South garden. All right guys, so we're out here in the south garden, and I wanted to show you where I had planted the queen nectarines last year, which, you know what, maybe there's something wrong with this area because the red bud didn't fare that great this winter either. And that's something that we're going to be replacing. But I had one right here. You can see it's kind of flushing back, so we're going to leave that one. There was one right here, which I'm going to pull that. There's only one tiny little, yeah, it's like they're, like, look at this. It's like something just ate them off. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. That's why it's always worth planting them again and trying just to troubleshoot what's going on. So I'll just be monitoring these really closely. You know, we've got drip that runs through this area, and they should be happy water-wise because we can kind of control that. But this one looks decent. But look at this. If you get close, this is chlorosis. That means a deficiency of iron right there. So I might just hit them with some chelated iron too, just to see if that's helpful. So this is where the queen nectarines are going. Let's get them planted. right, guys, we got all 3 of those perennials in the ground. I want to walk you through where they all ended up. I think they're going to be so beautiful. And let me tell you, like, the sun's kind of popping through right now, but we're right at the beginning of a 10-day cool down. And even though it was just in the 80s, which is not super hot for our area, already having a cool down with 4 days scheduled of rain, it just feels like a gift. Being out here, it's so nice. Okay, so we just decked this area out with the Brunnera. There's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of them in here. It's gonna be massive and it's gonna be beautiful. I think that this is gonna be the perfect solution for this area because I've always struggled a bit with this because this sprinkler, you see that right there? It oversprays this area. In fact, it starts to weigh the lilac tree down in order to hit the grass over there that goes this way. We are gonna be redoing the sprinklers and the grass in this area at some point, hopefully this season. But I think it's going to be a really good solution. This area stays pretty shaded, it stays pretty wet, and our water is hard, so it leaves white deposits on everything. So anything I've ever planted here ends up with those white spots. Well, we've got silver white variegation here, so I think it's going to hide the hard water. I'm not sure why I didn't think of it before. I think it's going to be perfect. Now, I'll show you some other Brunnera that's blooming beautifully right now, and I'm not sure if it's the same variety or if it's Jack of Diamonds, but both are really beautiful types of Brunnera. I think the only difference, now don't quote me, but I think Queen of Hearts just gets a little bit bigger, a little tiny bit taller by a couple inches and a little bit wider. But I'm hoping that this right here is just a complete mass of Brunnera. You can see I planted right in between heucheras. Those come back weaker and weaker every year. I left them, like there's a little tiny one right here. I left them just because they're a little bit of color, but I don't expect them to thrive very much longer here. And then I also have got big hostas coming up. So that will be the backdrop in this area. And of course the rest of this flower bed, which is looking just so beautiful. Look at this. It's full of hellebores and leucogems, blooming viburnum. Oh, I just really love it. Tons of colors of hellebore in here and some big tulips about ready to burst. Look at that. My goodness gracious. Wish you guys could smell this viburnum right now. So while we're over here, let's take a look at these Brunnera. This is what they look like when they are in bloom. And they're awesome. Absolutely beautiful. Love the color. And you can see the leaves down toward the bottom are bigger. And once they're done blooming, we come in, and even though the bloom stalks have leaves on them, we'll take them down and cut them all the way off to where all we are left with is the foliage canopy down below. They're just a wonderful plant. In fact, when I loaded them up in the gator, Aaron was talking about how much he loves them as well. They're a crowd pleaser. Other 2 types ended up out in the south garden, so that's where we're heading. And here are the queen nectarines. They look so gorgeous right here. I wish that every year the agastache and the tulips and the daffodils were all blooming at the same time. We'll probably never get to see that again. It's just gorgeous over here. So you can see I just kind of worked the new ones in around the existing ones that are here. And I'm just hopeful. I didn't find anything weird in the soil. The soil's, I mean, pretty good. It's pretty fluffy right here. I didn't notice that it seemed clay or like it was holding on to extra moisture. We have been running the drips out here because of the bulbs and other things that have been waking up. So I think I would notice, you know, if the water was an issue here. And it could just be one of those things that's a mystery that you just can't pinpoint. Go on and hopefully this time it works. Okay, so I know we can't see anything with the Samantha lilies, but I popped all 3 of them right here. We've got some ornamental grass and some phlox. So we have a buddleia right there that I did cut back. And then we've got some other things. I think I've got a lavender we've got to pull. No, I was going through here the other day and there's quite a number of things I need to pull. There's a couple of roses we put in that are dead, a couple of lavenders, a chase tree, brandywine viburnum, a bloomerang lilac that looks puny. But overall, I mean, given the sheer amount of things we planted out here, I don't think it's too bad, the ratio. And you guys, that is it for today. I think I'm gonna try to get maybe some more things done in the cut flower garden later on. But it's just been wonderful. Yesterday was actually like 85 and we took the kids out to my parents' swimming pool and got in the pool because I told them we're not going to be able to do it for probably the next 10 or so days. One of the days, our high is 58. I don't think we're going to get below 40, but it's going to be quite a bit cooler and a lot of moisture, and it's just going to be wonderful. So all these plants should be very happy with it. Anyway, hope you guys are having a great day, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.